Oh dear, Oxford's big day out at Bristol City turned out not to be the one they were hoping for. Possibly the worst performance in the league this season, says Dan. John also says we didn't play badly at all, but it was definitely the worst performance of the season. Well, to confirm whether it was or not a bad showing, we've got Sam and Luke back on the only Oxford United 20-minute podcast that you'll find on the internet. This is where Yellows Walk. Please drop a subscribe and we'll roll the titles. All right, is this the plan then? Win all your home games, lose all your away games, and you'll be absolutely fine. Well, let's find out. Welcome back, Sam. Welcome back, Luke. This is where Yellows Walk. All right, Sam, guide us through that one. You started well, didn't it?
It's a proper mixed bag, let me say, because the thing is, it's in certain aspects similar to the loss to Blackburn. Go 1-0 up, then concede 2 goals we probably shouldn't have. But the thing that annoys me most is, look, I'm going to say straight off, we shouldn't have won that game at all. We didn't create much. But I also don't think we should have lost it. Penalty is very, very dubious. It's a really soft one, I think. And the best chance of the game, XG-wise, is Mike Harris's miss. They didn't, their best chances were the ones they scored. It's, and even the penalties at 0.79 XG. It's very harsh, I think, on Oxford to lose that game, but it wasn't an amazing performance.
Luke, what'd you put that down to? I mean, away from home so far, we've seen you at Coventry play well and not pick up, obviously, maximum points. We've seen you at Blackburn play well, that wonder goal, and not pick up maximum points. This is the first time where you can argue that some players were just a bit off it?
Yeah, I think I've watched the game back. I wasn't able to be at the game, so I've watched the game back where, obviously, when you watch it on the telly, you see it a little bit differently. I don't know. I think Manning is very much a reserved tactical manager, and I just think the two sort of tactics collided in a way that fell in Bristol City's favour just a little bit more than ours. There was a few off games. I think when McEachran come off, Volks is a very good player, but I think we just lost maybe a bit of passing ability out that sort of first third to get us up the pitch and make a few more chances. But it's a long season, and we're going to have some of these games. So
absolutely,
unfortunately, it come against Mr. Manning.
Well, he was getting sacked at half time, wasn't he? He must have been sat in that dressing room thinking, yeah, Oxford being the team to get in the boot. Here's some more takes on it. Sam Tyler says, yeah, the constant chanting about Manning all game gets you calmer. I'm fine if we do it 5 or 6 times, but constantly chanting about him and not our current manager really annoys me. I mean, you can understand fans, can't you? Even the Bristol City lot said, look, they sang about nothing else until they scored, and then as soon as they equalised, then you were quiet. I mean, what was it like in the away end?
I will say, and everyone's got the right to an opinion, but first of all, I would say I think there's a serious acoustics problem at Ashton Gate, because I didn't hear them until they scored. Then they went quiet. Then they scored again. Then they made noise for about 2 minutes, and then they went silent again. So and I've seen some footage back from the Bristol City end, and we were singing for a vast majority of that game, and you can't really hear us. So I don't know if it's kind of the way that Ashton Gate's been built, is that it doesn't carry sound, but it seems to be a case that neither set of fans actually heard each other. I mean, because like I say, and we weren't trying about Manning for the entirety of the game. I was right in the heart of the singing, and we were trying to get, there's a group of us that are trying to get new songs going. We were getting them going, and we were trying about Des and the players. It's just in that instance, you can't blame Oxford fans for getting caught up in the fact that, that here's our former manager who left us in the middle of a season. We're beating them 1-0. We're gonna chance taking the mickey out of him.
Absolutely, nothing wrong with that. It's what football's all about, isn't it? Luke, you have no problem with that, do you? I'm guessing.
No, it's one of them where I think from the outside, I'm not overly that annoyed at Liam Manning personally. Like, he left, he got more money, he did what most managers would do. But when it comes to a game day and you're beating them 1-0, of course you're gonna sing some songs directed at him. So it's all fun and games. It's just Eventually it will come around and get you.
Then there was a lot of this. Can't afford to miss chances like Sparky's and not get punished. Dodgy pen, can't argue result, not good enough today. I think that sums up everything that Sam and you, Luke, have just said. I mean, the penalty itself, let's just go back and just talk about that. I mean, if it's given for you, would you, Luke, generally be shouting the other way?
I don't think you're ever going to complain about a penalty given to you, but like I said, I've watched it back. You see the replay. It's hard to tell if the Bristol player knocks the ball away or Sparky gets the ball through him. It's one of them where it does seem light, but like I say, if it was for us, I don't think we would be complaining too much.
And Sam, Nathan says fair result, albeit probably not a penalty. Other than that, Harry Sitter, we didn't do exactly a lot. But if that goes in and makes it 2-0, it's probably a different game and a different result. And I don't think you can argue with that, Sam.
No, that Sparky's miss is the pivotal moment in that game. Because, like I say, it was the highest quality chance in that game, and not like 10 minutes later they go up the other end and score. It's one of those things. I'm not going to get on Sparky's back. He's got 4 in 4, and then doesn't score against Stoke and doesn't score against Bristol, even they had a big chance. This is a player that I think scored 3 goals in August of last season, and then didn't score again until New Year's. So I'm not going to get on his back for having a better record already than he did last season. He will know he needs to put that ball in the back of the net. At the same time, Bristol got very lucky with the fact that Sariki Dembele's 35-yarder cracked the top of the crossbar, and not because O'Leary was completely stranded.
Yeah. All right, then we'll talk about Burnley in a second, because the tests don't come any lighter. Before we do that, we need to complete our roundup of your defence. We've done goalkeepers, we did centre backs, I think, with you, Luke, a couple of weeks ago. We did looked at left backs last week, so now we're finishing our set. We're looking at right backs. In terms of strength and depth, Sam, this is what Transfer Market has you down as for having. And perhaps you won't see all of these players in that position, but where do you put this as a position in terms of needs of attention, or actually no worries at all, Sam?
I put it in the case of no real worry at the minute. The thing is, it's a very similar situation to what we had left backs last season. You've got 2 main left backs in Peter Kioso, who obviously started more recently, and Hid Turabest, who is just getting back to full fitness, obviously having been a free agent for the majority of the summer. Sam Long will step there when needed, but Des Buckingham has shown that he wants to use him more as a centre-back. I think we're fine. It might be something, given Kioso's, like I say, not had an amazing first couple of games, that there might be talk of switching the system to give him a bit more cover. But, we've got 3 right backs. It's not going to be something that we're going to be diving into the transfer window in January to sort out.
Okay. Now that we've covered all those positions, Luke, I want you to grade, if you can, for me, the whole defensive structure at Oxford. Given, obviously, if you take you back to your promotion, at Wembley, and then you're thinking, crikey, are we going to be conceding lots? How happy are you? And rate it out of 10 for me, regardless of results so far. Where do you think it is at, and include the goalkeepers as well? 1 to 10. How strong are Oxford defensively this season?
I think 8 would be too high, so I think I'm going to go for a 7. I think Cumming and Ingram are 2 very capable goalkeepers at this level. I was a little bit sceptical if Cumming could do the Championship, but he's shown he's definitely good enough. Sam there rounded up our right backs really well. Left back, the injury to Bennett come at a really unlucky time, where we just sent Jack Curry out on loan, who's doing really well at Leyton Orient. So left back, we're strong again. And the centre backs, it was a question of will Moore and Brown step up, and I think both of them have showed that they can. We've got Thornley if we need him. We signed Nelson on deadline day, so I think maybe Brown's the one of the 2 that's running a little bit hotter at the minute. So if he does dip off, he's got some really solid competition there to step up. So I think 7's fair. I think 8 would be, to say we've got an 8 out of 10 defence in the Championship would be a little bit high, because I think maybe teams like Burnley, like you say, they've got 8 out of 10 defences for the Championship, not the teams like us.
Fair enough. Sam, would you go along with that?
Yeah, I'd say the most crucial part, I think, was getting in Ben Nelson on deadline day. Of course, without him, we had Jordan Thornley and Sam Long as the reverse centre backs. Thornley's injured, and Sam Long, like I say, he's a very versatile and I think has stepped up very well. But asking him to be, the only fit reserve centre back is a real kind of test of squad strength. Ben Nelson, from what I've seen at Leicester, he looks pretty good. And the fact he can play both on the left and the right hand side of the centre path pairing is really good. I think. Look, you're right. I think Elliot Moore really struggled. I think with the pace of Bristol City's attackers on Saturday, so I think it's more likely that he will step out. I think, although saying that, we saw what happened last season when Elliot's kind of captain's presence was taken out of the team. But at some point, you will see Sam Long and Ben Nelson deployed at centre back, and we've got strength there to cover it.
Okay. Drop your comments below if you disagree with anything that you've heard before, and also thank you for carrying on watching. This podcast, I said, is the only 20-minute podcast that exists for Oxford across the internet. It is Burnley then. Your great home record is under threat this weekend with Parker. Luke, how does Des approach this one? Will he be as open or not? Will he approach this with the same style and flamboyance that we've seen you play against Preston and Norwich so far?
I'd like to think that he's going to assess it. It's Burnley. It's the hardest game we've had all season. I'd like to think he isn't going to revert away from all his sort of philosophy and style that he's implemented over the summer. I don't think that's what managers should do. They need to believe in what they're doing. Can he tweak it? Obviously, yes. We're gonna have less of the ball. We're gonna be chasing shadows for parts of this game, and there's some wingers worth a lot of money that I'm sure our fullbacks will be worried to be one-on-one with. But I think to completely ignore everything you've built your success on so far and just try and hold on isn't the way to go. So it's one of them. We would like to keep 100% record of wins at home, but I think every Oxford fan right now would take your hand off for a point.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam, you take a point right now, I'm guessing.
I would. One thing I would say, and look, you're right, the fact that Jeremy Sarmiento is on loan in the Championship is an absolute disgrace in my view. But, I will say that, Burnley are the strongest team in the Championship, I think. Just based off the squad, on the value that of the players. But I will also say that I think Burnley need to be wary because they won't be the first side that come to Grenoble Road and think they're going to batter us. Norwich thought the same, Preston, Stoke, and what's happened? The atmosphere that we have at Grenoble Road, we will get right behind those players, and it seemed to give them an extra bit. Even late in games, it will give them that extra kind of juice to kind of make the interception, to take the shot and maybe win us the game. But I take the point now.
Brilliant. Okay. Thank you both so much. And we'll be with you next week to start our trawl through the midfield and also review that Burnley game. I think it's going to be a fascinating one, this one. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion whatsoever. I'm fascinated to see the odds as well and see what odds they give you as the home team that haven't lost at home yet against the Burnley side, which are they've not been brilliant. They weren't great against Portsmouth. They haven't been great against Blackburn. So it's not an away banker for sure. We'll catch you next week to review all of that. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Luke, and thank you all for watching. See you next week.